Hello and welcome to Mindful Living, where we explore the art of living with the intention, balance, and inner peace. I am Avik, your host, guiding you through conversations on health, meditation, mental well being, mindfulness, and the mind body connection. Each episode features expert insights to help you grow, heal, and thrive. So, take a deep breath, relax, and join us on this journey to a more mindful and fulfilling life. So, let's get started.
Hello and welcome, listeners, to the Mindful Living podcast, where we explore the transformative power of mindfulness, self awareness, and personal growth. I'm your host, Sana, and today's episode is all about reclaiming your happiness and resolving conflict in life. We are joined by a special guest, a very special guest, Yvonne Trost, a transformational leader and happiness coach. Yvonne's journey from corporate success to finding her true purpose as the co founder of Limitless You is deeply inspiring for all of us. As a single mom and divorcee, she has faced life's toughest challenges and emerged stronger, helping others break free from limiting beliefs and embrace their full potential. And today we'll dive into Yvonne's insights on how to resolve conflict, whether internal or external, and how to regenerate joy in your life, no matter the circumstances. So, Yvonne, welcome to the show, and it's an absolute pleasure having you with us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
So, you have experienced your own fair share of personal and professional conflicts. So, can you share how you managed to resolve those conflicts and reclaim your happiness?
Absolutely. What I'd say is, I haven't always been able to do it in such a healthy, happy way until, I went through kind of my own transformative process with the most profound step in my journey being a couple years ago and changes that I've made. I think, it's cliche and at the same time so true. People change from inspiration or desperation. And for me, I went through a pretty terrible divorce, right? That was not something that I had planned on in my life. And it's always those toughest challenges that inspire you, right, to make the biggest changes. And so when I went through that process, I have two boys now. Now they're 17 and 14 years old. They were 7 and 4 at the time. So 10 years ago. And a friend of mine said, "Come to yoga with me." And I was thinking to myself, I hate yoga. I don't think I like it. There's no endorphins, because I was a runner or a spinner or something like that. And I went to my first real yoga practice and it just had the most profound impact on me. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is the most wonderful and yet hardest thing I've ever done. It was a Baron Baptiste style of yoga, but there was heat, there was humidity, there was pushing my edge. And I began to breathe in the most proper way, right? Most people think, oh, I can't do all those poses in asana in yoga. And I said, if you can get on your mat and breathe, you're doing yoga. So that's where my journey began. And I found strength through yoga. It led me to meditation, which led me to manifesting in quantum physics, which led me to hypnotherapy. And now I'm a certified hypnotherapist and happiness coach because I want to give the gift of finding what's holding you back in life. It's buried in your subconscious. I want to give that gift to everybody because that's how now I am able to deal with conflict in the most healthy way because I'm actually starting to understand how the human being works. Quite often, I don't know about you, Sana, but I wasn't taught human being 101 in school or from my parents.
Yeah.
And learning how the mind, body, spirit works and learning yourself really and what triggers you, why those triggers happen, how they're really untruths buried in your subconscious. and learning to rewrite what's going on in your subconscious mind with the truth, your truth. That's how I have now been able to deal with any challenge that comes my way. And rather than conflict being scary or combative, conflict now brings me closer in my relationships because I can handle it in such a healthy way. And I can see the other person as also a human being with a subconscious mind of a child, see them through eyes of compassion, and then get curious about why might we both be feeling less than fabulous, and how can we help each other grow?
Lovely. That's really lovely. You speak a lot about limiting beliefs. So, how do these unconscious beliefs create conflict in our lives? And what steps can we take to start breaking free from them?
It's such a great question, Sana. And I wasn't even aware of what a limiting belief was, right? That's not something, I mean, it's on social media a lot now, but it's not something that I grew up knowing. And what happens is by the time you're 35, 95% of what you say, do, think, hear, your whole personality is driven by automatic programs stored in your subconscious mind. So Sana, as human beings, we have so many senses, and a lot of senses we don't even have access to. They go beyond our five senses. And if we were to take in everything through all of our senses all the time, we wouldn't be able to function. So the human being is so sophisticated and wonderful. It creates automatic programs, if you will, when it sees or hears something similar to a situation that it's dealt with before. Your mind calls an automatic program. Most of those are formed by the time you're 10 years old.
Yeah.
So what happens is we have to survive, right? Our subconscious mind doesn't care if we're happy or if we're sad. So it builds these automatic programs just for survival. And what happens is they get coded. And so if somebody says something to you, right, and you feel like you're being judged, you have to immediately defend yourself with these automatic programs typically. Because before, way back when, in our ancestors, if we were kicked out of the tribe, we would die.
Yes.
You couldn't survive on your own. So your mind is functioning to try and keep you within whatever tribe, within whatever safety mechanisms it believes that are available to you in whatever way it can. So those automatic programs are being called. Now, your question of like, how do you know and how do you change them? One thing, it's very common not to know. Like even I didn't, Sana. Like before I went through my change, I thought I was normal, right? I was normal. But normal doesn't necessarily mean healthy, and it doesn't mean as happy as you can be. So at Limitless You, we created a fun little free quiz. If you're listening and you want to be like, I don't know, do I have limiting beliefs? Do I not? It really shows up in your way of being. So we've developed a very simple, fun 12-question quiz that you can get done in 5 minutes or less. That's going to give you the insights that you need to get started on your journey. So if you go to unlocklimitlessyou.com/quiz, there you'll be able to take the free quiz. And what you'll find is be honest, like answer the questions in your true way of being. And then you'll get an email afterwards that kind of highlights to you how might you have a limiting belief that's holding you back based upon how you answer your way of being. So if, for example, you judge yourself or you judge others, there's a limiting belief there. If you have a fear of anything other than like literally saving your life, if you are in a life-threatening situation, there's a limiting belief there. So I always tell people, like, if there is fear or judgment in your life, there's so much more growth and opportunity and so much more happiness in store for you. So you shouldn't be like upset. Oh no, I have these. You should get excited. Put your energy into what you want, which is even more happiness, more joy, more abundance. Also, if you go to unlocklimitlessyou.com, there's a tab for resources, or you can just put /joy. One of the things Sana and I are going to talk about is our Joy Regenerator. And it will give you your free download to figure out like, how can you regenerate your joy? And also, how might you have a conversation with somebody that perhaps might be impacting your joy so that not only you can be happier, but you can grow closer together?
Wow, that is great. Great. And as a happiness coach, how do you help individuals find joy in situations where they would usually feel stuck or overwhelmed by conflict?
Absolutely. So, the first thing we have to do, we have like basically, if you think of it as 3 steps, it's easy to remember. The first is realize. So, a lot of things out there are helping you realize things, but only with your conscious mind. Remember, I said, Sana, by the time you're 35, your conscious mind, your neocortex, is only 5% in charge.
Yes.
So you're going to do a lot of band-aiding and a lot of work with very little information. And most of what's in that neocortex is assumptions and made up based upon untruths that you're just doing the best you can. So we start with awareness with that realized step, but we start not just with your conscious, but with your subconscious mind. So we have several things that we leverage, hypnotherapy being one, coherence therapy and memory reconsolidation being another. But this isn't the kind of therapy that you're used to or you hear where you're sitting on somebody's couch for years and making marginal progress. What we do is we don't want you, I mean, I want to be in everybody's life forever as long as I can and be connected, but you won't need us after, 2 months or less. Because what we do is we get to the root of what's been holding you back in your subconscious mind, leveraging those methods that I mentioned. And then we help you do the second step, which is recode. We recode your subconscious mind, not with what I want, but with what you really want. And we help you figure out what is it that you really want, not based upon what you've been conditioned to believe from your family or schools or your culture or your environment, but Sana, what's at your core? Like what lights you up? What is your purpose? Most of my clients can tell me what they don't want in their life, but a lot of them don't necessarily know what they truly want other than what they've been conditioned to believe. So we help you identify what do you truly want at your core and recode. That's the second step. For first, realize with your conscious and your subconscious. The second, recode your subconscious mind. And the third is rewrite. So leveraging memory consolidation, we rewrite the past, what you believed it to be true, that limiting belief that held you back, that helped you survive, not your fault, but now you know the truth. So rather than staying stuck in the past, we can rewrite your meaning of the past, transform your present, and rewrite your future for what you want. And we take action and support you in that action. So we realize with subconscious and conscious, we recode and we take action and we rewrite. And it doesn't take long. Once we get to the root of it and you're in a supportive, healthy community, I have what I call my tribe. We meet every single week. So we do one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching. We do them together. And people are just prospering beyond what they ever imagined possible. They might come to me for anxiety or depression, and then all of a sudden their relationships are transformed. Their purpose is, they're finding their purpose. And I've even had people say, oh my gosh, I had this physical ailment. And I thought it had nothing to do with my anxiety or depression, but I don't feel that anymore. It went away. And it's just wonderful. Once you get to the root of it, you solve so many things just with one process.
Wow, that sounds interesting. And many people believe that resolving conflict means sacrificing or maybe compromising their happiness. So, how can we shift our mindset to resolve conflicts in a way that nurtures or sustains our own joy and well being as well?
That is such a great question. I'm going to answer. There's a couple things I want to talk about. But the first I think is really interesting that just came to my mind. Like conflict can be seen as an opportunity. So you've heard things happen for you, but not to you. If you haven't, write that down. Things happen for you, not to you. So if you can change your mindset, right, to that. And sometimes it's like, oh, that's easier said than done. Well, number one, don't say anything you don't want to be true. Say, oh, that's easy to do and easy to understand. And then try it out. So conflict sometimes people are like, oh, I got to sacrifice or I got to compromise. No, jump into it. Get curious. This is an opportunity for you to learn why that conflict is there to even begin with.
Right.
Sana, have you ever had a conflict come up? And whether it's with the same person or a different person, there seems to be like a pattern and it just keeps coming up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Many times with the same
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. Guess what that is? That's your creator, your universe, whatever you believe in, like telling you, you have an opportunity here. I'm going to keep giving you this opportunity until
Right.
you learn what I want you to learn from it.
And
So
in a
go
way,
ahead.
it feels like, you have your own opinion, and there's some kind of ownership or power attached, because we're not saying yes to anything and everything,
No.
whether it's with the same person or multiple people influencing us or around us. It kind of gives a kind of that sense of power or ownership. So I totally agree with you.
Here's the interesting thing. Any conflict you have has nothing to do with the other person.
Mm.
The source of it is the relationship you have with yourself. You're
Mm.
talking about power. We give our
Mm.
power away so much. You
True.
made me mad. You made me yell. You made me blah, blah, blah. Nobody can make you do anything. Sana, you and I
Yes.
could have the same exact situation. Like you and I could be talking to each other, even we're talking right now. But our experiences can be totally different because it's not the situation or the person that impacts you or me. It's the
Mhm.
meaning I give to the experience.
Mm.
And nobody can make me give a meaning to an experience. My subconscious mind was in charge of the meaning I gave my experiences for a long time based upon my conditioning. I got grounded if I didn't get straight A's. My parents didn't come to my ball game. I was always being compared to other kids. Like, it's not big T trauma that can cause unhappiness in your life. Big T trauma can
Mm.
abuse, neglect,
Yeah.
all go, on and on. It doesn't take something big if the meaning you give the experience is big. So if you're listening and you're like, what is she talking about? I want you to take back your power. Nobody can make you mad unless you give them that power.
Yes. Yes.
Nobody can make you small unless you give them that power, because guess what? They can't control the meaning you give it.
True. That is very, very true. That is very true. What a
So
powerful.
when you're feeling something, Sana, when you're feeling something, if it's anything less than stellar, if you're feeling sad, angry, depressed, anxious, mad, any of it, this is where our Joy Regenerator comes in. I want you to first just pause and close your eyes if you want to, but definitely take a deep breath, maybe a few deep breaths, or get grounded. Feel your feet on the ground. Imagine the nurturing earth is giving you support from below. Whatever your grounding technique is, just give yourself a minute to breathe, because you need to interrupt that automatic program and reconnect. And then I want you to identify, like, okay, where am I feeling this negative thing? So, Sana, for me, it's usually in my solar plexus or in my heart chakra, where I'm just like, anytime I feel like something, I'm like, oh, it doesn't feel good. I think about, okay, where am I feeling it? Do you have a common place? Some people, it's like in their shoulders or in their neck. When you're feeling uncomfortable, where do you feel it, Sana?
My back or the neck.
Yeah. So, first things first, ladies and gentlemen, your body doesn't speak English or German or Spanish or any other language, but it does speak through sensations and emotions.
Mm.
So don't try and numb out. I used to drink a lot of wine and watch Netflix to try and not feel. Right? Don't numb out. Get curious. Bring those feelings, those sensations closer and be like, what is my body trying to tell me?
Mm.
And the first step, you've heard of Einstein's theory, right? E equals MC squared. I changed it a little bit. Mindful thinking, the energy in your life that you want is mindful thinking raised to the power of compassion and curiosity. So after you breathe, you identify the sensation. I want you to think about, I got to give myself compassion. And even if you're in conflict with somebody else, even if they're making you mad, my little hack is look at them like a little 6-year-old or 7-year-old, because that's what their subconscious mind is. And they weren't born that way. So give compassion to anybody involved and then get curious. Why might you be feeling that way? Why would somebody's words impact your physical being? Now, sometimes you won't know. Sometimes you need to do some guided meditation, or like what I help my clients get to the root of it really fast is with guided hypnosis. I tell them like I'm their subconscious safari guide, right? And we can get to the root cause. It might take you a little while if you don't have somebody like me or somebody that understands how to talk to your subconscious mind or reach it, but you'll get there. So remember, be compassionate. They're just doing their best, trying to survive as a little kid in their subconscious mind, and so are you. Get curious because you're going to bring back your power. You're not going to give it away. How might you not be impacted in a negative way by somebody else? Get to the root of it. Think about 3 things that you're grateful for. Susanna, in that conversation or in that pattern with that person, you know, where you're feeling that conflict or perhaps judgment, or they're not listening to you, probably has a lot to do with maybe you weren't listened to or seen as a kid, the authentic you. The cool thing is, though, you're not a kid anymore and you can reparent yourself. So we start with 3 things we're grateful for, right? We're grateful that we have a voice.
Yes.
We can speak. We're grateful for the opportunity to have opinions and thoughts.
Yes.
Right? Maybe you're grateful for friends or family that you know you can go talk to about this situation.
Yes.
And then you ask yourself, once you've kind of interrupted that whole process, right? That automatic program that's very powerful. Was my original thought true? Maybe you thought what I have to say doesn't matter, or they don't think that. You can know what you have to say does matter. And so we have like a lovely little script here. If you go to unlocklimitlessyou.com/joy, you can find the Joy Regenerator, and you can say, if you and I had a conflict, I can say, Sana, it isn't your fault, but when you said you don't understand what I'm talking about, the story I told myself was, she thinks I'm wrong. And that made me feel judged. Can you help me process my own stories that I make in my head so that I can heal and we can better understand each other's intentions? And then we can become more deeply connected as our authentic selves.
Wow.
Do you see? I made sure you didn't feel judged.
Yeah.
And quite often we will get in these conversations because we've made these false assumptions in our head that have nothing to do with what the other person is thinking to begin with.
True.
There's a lovely little book called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And the 4 agreements are, don't take things personally. And why that works is, like I said before, it's never about you anyway. It's about how the other person feels about themselves. Don't make assumptions, because humans are terrible at that. And we usually get it wrong. Be impeccable with your word. Only say things that you want to be true or that are true, that you're going to make true, right? So people know they can trust you. And if you just do your best, the 4th agreement, you know you have nothing to fear. So if we can start with intentions and curiosity, all those conflicts dissolve. And Sana, if I came to you and I said what I said and you still got all feisty on me, I'd be like, I feel like you're having a really bad day and I'm sorry about that. When you're ready to have a conversation in a calm way, let's come back to this because I care about you.
Yeah.
And then you don't let them impact your energy. And that works at home or at work. It's amazing. We spend so much of our energy fighting what we don't want to be true. We don't want to be rejected. We don't want to be judged. We don't want to be wrong. But when you put energy into protecting yourself from that stuff, you actually start creating it and you attract more of it. So start putting your energy into what you want, not in what you don't want.
Wow. That was such a great session. Wow. So you combine ancient wisdom like Ayurveda and yoga with modern science like neuroscience and quantum physics in your coaching, as we have seen through that entire discussion, that entire session we had just now. how do these practices help people move through conflict and toward happiness?
Absolutely. So I believe that there's a golden thread of truth through things that look like they're completely different. Like if you're not familiar, somebody might say yogis and scientists are totally different, right?
Yes.
But what they talk about, there's a golden thread between of truth and they're closer, right? So just like yoga means union, like if we can start to see that we're more connected and more alike than we are different, the better. So what I have found is modern science, quantum physics is starting to prove what yogis have known for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're talking about energy centers now and where a plexus of neurons are. Guess what those are? Our chakras.
Correct. That's correct.
There's so many similarities. And so what I like to do is help people basically the power of your mind
Mm-hmm.
is influenced by your belief system. And so if you can use different parts of knowledge to further give your mind confidence that there's a truth, the better. So modern science is putting technology and data to what yogis have just believed and known through being and intention. So I combine them in that way so that people not only can have the experience of the truth, but they can see that, oh, there's actually data to support it. I think the other thing is that modern science and data and technology make it a little bit easier to comprehend than perhaps ancient wisdom. It makes it more accessible for a lot of people because even if you think about yoga, it wasn't necessarily even created for women back in the day.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't for everybody. It was for a special class, a special sect. And so what we need to do is make it accessible for everyone. And once you understand human being 101, which modern science helps us do versus just a belief system from ancient wisdom, right? Then the light bulbs start going on. And I believe everything is experiential. So modern science is very in your head and very thinking, whereas ancient wisdom and yoga and practices that use your whole mind, body, spirit connect it all together. So I believe in movement, right? I believe in mind, body, spirit connection. I believe in accessibility for all, that everybody can have this power to unlock themselves and they need to find it within, and I help them find it within. And that's why I combine both, because I feel like, the more tools people have in their tool belt that can work together, the better. And just like Sadhguru says, don't take what I say, try it out. If it works, use it. If it doesn't, let's talk, because there's probably something else that can be tailored to your experience.
Yes. That makes sense. Lovely, lovely one. And you have walked away from both a marriage and successful career to pursue a more fulfilling life. So, what mindset shifts were necessary for you to take those courageous, bold steps? And how can others cultivate that same courage?
Such a great question. I lived a life out of fear of the unknown for a long time. But if you looked at my life, you're like, oh, wow, she's really successful. She's got a good career. She gets promoted. She makes a lot of money. She has a family. But I was always operating from a mindset of, I didn't know this, but operating from a mindset of like lack, not of abundance, of fear. Not necessarily. It seemed like everybody thought, oh, she's independent. She's courageous. Like she's sometimes even intimidating, I was told. But it was all underlying fear of the unknown. Because I was brought up, I love my parents. They're still alive. They didn't grow up with a lot. And so they wanted the best for me. And that's what I'd say. Like, this is not about beating up your parents. It's not about beating up society or the environment. Everybody does the best that they can. What you can do, though, is learn more and do better for yourself. Not do better measuring up to somebody else's expectations, but what do you want? And so once I realized that I was living my life out of fear of Like, will I have enough money? Will I be popular? Will I be safe? Can I raise my family? Can I pay the bills? All of that. I wasn't like asking, like, what lights me up? What do I get excited about doing each and every day? So what I had to do was go through some tough stuff that we talked about earlier that led me on a journey to continually like think and grow and connect. But it doesn't take that long. You don't have to take the 10 years that I did. What really made it happen very quickly, my quantum leap, was leveraging hypnosis to let go of the fear of the unknown, to realize that I had more to fear in not living my life fully than I had to fear of staying small. And I wouldn't have known that had I not gone through it. And it's not like I want people to understand, like you should look up, there's different types of hypnosis, but the hypnosis that I leverage is more of not telling you what to do, not like thou shalt not smoke, thou shalt blah, 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 blah. It's a subconscious safari where we say, what's your magic wish? And then we go back into your subconscious mind to figure out what might be preventing you from that. And I don't give you the answers, because if I give you the answers, they won't last forever. I guide you to your own answer. And we find the key of the emotional prison that you've been locking yourself in unknowingly. And you have the key inside you. So the biggest thing I had to do is find the key to let go of my fear of the unknown. Because I was a big fish in a small pond and it was getting crowded and murky and yucky. And I was too afraid to go out into the beautiful ocean of possibility. But once I let go of that fear of the unknown, like imagine this, Sana, I'm on a pier and I got one foot on the dock and one foot on a yacht, and the yacht's going to go out to this beautiful trip in the ocean. And I'm like, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can. Letting go of the fear of the unknown and realizing that my whole life I was afraid of things I don't need to be afraid of. Let me step off that pier and jump onto the yacht. And now I'm sailing in a beautiful ocean where I get to continue to learn and grow about the mind, body, spirit, and help others do the same.
Definitely. Wow. Wow. What a journey, Yvonne. And before we wrap up this conversation, at Limitless you emphasize community and support in personal transformation. So, how important is community in resolving conflicts and finding that lasting happiness? And what role does it play in your coaching approach?
That's so important. And I'm glad you asked. And it's not a one size fits all for everybody. What I have found though, right? Because human beings are a tribal body. We're not meant to be on our own forever. So do you need community to make a drastic change 100% all the time? No. What I have found though is it's key to lasting change and growth. So we have the one-on-one coaching that I do. People usually find that key. We go on that subconscious safari, we find the key, we start taking action. Where the community comes in is around belief and support. So you've heard, Sana, probably that you become the average of the 5 to 10 people that you hang out with, right? You know that energy is so important. If you don't surround yourself with people that are either where you want to be or on a journey that they want to head and towards greater consciousness as well, you can find yourself sucked backwards. And so in my community, we meet every single week. It's optional. I give that as a free resource to people that join our community. And we continue to learn about the mind, body, spirit. We continue to grow our brain. And we also celebrate successes. Most often, I will start our calls with celebrations. And quite often, my tribe will be like, oh, this is a small one, but, and then they say it and we're like, oh my God, that's not small. That's huge. But our subconscious mind, remember, doesn't care if we're happy or sad. It wants to keep us alive. And so if we don't change, it thinks, oh, you're alive now, you'll stay alive. So it tries to make change small, right? Because it doesn't like change. And so when you have a community of people that support you and celebrate you, it helps convince your subconscious mind that, oh, no, actually, this is growth. This is okay. This is safe. And so the role that community, I think, plays is it not only makes your foundation more solid, They help lift you up and give you momentum, and you will find synergy in your growth versus, having to do it all or being pulled back by folks that aren't. So I always tell people, stop watching the news. It sucks the energy and the life out of you. Like, stop hanging out with people that don't want to grow and they don't want you to grow. Like, you can try and inspire people, but you can't change anybody but yourself. So love yourself fully, fill your cup full so that it overflows. And hopefully those around you, right, start feeling the love and the growth, and they want that as well. If not, you need to be very careful about the community and what you let into your energy space if you want continuous growth. So I think it's really important. I think it's super important.
Yeah. Yes. Great, Yvonne. And if our listeners want to connect with you, explore more about your wisdom and more about Limitless You, how they can do that.
Absolutely. So our company name is Limitless You. Our website is Unlock Limitless You. So you can go to our website or you can go to any of our socials. You can follow me as an individual at Yvonne Trost on any of the platforms. You can search. I'm not in Germany. I'm in the United States. Other than that, there's only a few of me with that name. Or you can search up Unlock or Unlock Limitless You or Limitless You, and you'll see myself and my partner, Brad Chandler. And we are happy to talk to anybody. What I would say is go to our podcast, How to Be Happier for Entrepreneurs. It isn't just for entrepreneurs. It's for anybody that wants continuous growth. We have healers on, people that have gone through major transformation that want to share their story and help others grow, just like we are. We want everybody to be limitless. And then you can book a call with me at unlocklimitlessyou.com/call. And I highly recommend, don't forget, it's free. Take that quiz to see how you're showing up. Unlocklimitlessyou.com/quiz.
Lovely. We'll have all the links mentioned in the show notes. And Yvonne, thank you so much for sharing your powerful insights on resolving conflict and reclaiming happiness. And
Absolutely.
It's truly an inspiration for all of us, and your wisdom, as we saw during the conversation, it offers practical steps for anyone seeking to break free from limiting beliefs and embrace joy.
Absolutely. Go get your free resources. It's all on our website. And then I want to hear about how that conversation turns around.
Great.
All right, Sana, have a good evening.
Thank you. And for our listeners, be sure to check out the show notes along with this episode on your favorite podcast platform. And remember that happiness isn't a luxury, it is something we all deserve. And Yvonne's story reminds us that it is within reach. So until next time, stay mindful, stay joyful, and keep growing on your journey to a more fulfilling life. This is Sana signing off.